Mr. Reynolds, was there a person or a point in time, like a specific, something that happened that convinced you that you wanted to come to Georgia? Was it one person or?
You talking about the very first time or?
The very first time. Deliverance.
Well, Deliverance, it just made sense to me. And also Ask You, being such an ass, you know, made me want to go someplace as far away from Florida as I could and still find a river. And this river always had fascinated me because I had a cabin not far from there. And when going down it in a rubber raft is a little hairy, but going down it in a canoe is a whole other ball game. And you had to really have your stuff together. And I got thrown out of that thing 5 times, and I'm still hurt here and there from it. But what's fascinating to me is that they have a ride on that river now. It's like a Disney ride. And,
But you actually took Ned Beatty on that tour, didn't you?
well, he didn't know he was going on that tour. I told him, let's go up and take some river rides. Yeah. He said, oh, okay. So he recognized it pretty quick. And we got to the place where the thing happened, and they call it
Sodomy Creek.
Huh?
Sodomy Creek.
Thank you. They call it Sodomy Creek. And we were coming up to Sodomy Creek, and I was pulling the canoe towards it, and he said, "Don't you go there. Don't you go there. Don't go there. I'm not, don't go there. If you go there, I'll never speak to you again." So I went up. I just pulled on. I didn't go in there because I love him, and I didn't want to lose him as a friend.
The tour guide pointed out that it's actually on the map now.
It's on the map, like a map thing on the map.
Yes.
It's not in pencil or anything.
Right.
Now Georgia is 3rd in the country, in the U.S. for film production and 5th in the world. In the 1970s, were you able to see it becoming that, what it is now?
No, but I couldn't be happier. It's one of the best places I've ever shot. And I've told everybody that I know that, and I feel responsible for 4 or 5 pictures being shot here that I wasn't even in. I said, "You won't be sorry," and they weren't. It's just terrific. How could you not want to come here? And so I said, his name is Cowboy Coward, and I worked with him in a place called Ghost Town. And so I called up Ghost Town, and I said, "Would you guys know by any chance," it had been 15 years before when I worked there, "Do you know where Cowboy Coward is?" And they said, "Yeah, he's here working." I said, "Can I talk to him?" He got on the phone. I said, "Cowboy, I think I got a job for you if you'll come down to Maggie Valley, and you don't have to read or anything. I'll just tell you what to say, okay?" And he said, "All right." So he came in, and I said, "Cowboy, this is John Boorman." And he went, how did you do?" And I said, "The first line is, get over there against that tree and take your pants down." And he went, "Get over against that sapling and take your pants down." And he said, "You got the part." And he was great. He was great in it. The other guy was just as good an actor, but he was an actor. And he's worked. In fact, John Voight did about 7 pictures with him, I think. Terrific actor. Cowboy hasn't worked a lot since then, but he's still around up there, and he's signing autographs and everything. And he signs like he talks, you know. Anyway, it was a picture I'll never forget because of all those things.
And we'll never forget it either.
And it created not only the film industry, but the tourism, eco-tourism industry.
It could, yeah, they do have a ride, I think, every 45 minutes down there.
Wow.
You used to tell people that you were originally from Waycross, Georgia, and I know since then in your autobiography.
I'm not originally from Waycross, but how that started was, my dad came back from the war when I was 4, and they went on a second honeymoon, the mother and him, and they came back and they said, we're moving to Florida. And we drove down, and I had visions of alligators in my backyard and all that, and I said, boy, this is a great town, and it was Waycross, and I said, if I was born anywhere in the world, I'd like to be born right here. I love this place. And I don't know why. I felt that way. I always felt that way. And I've been born there,
Okay.
whether people like it or not. Well, Ed Spivey was really the driving force behind it and deserves all the credit. But because the governor who told me he didn't like my pictures, Mr. Askew, you know, I said in the paper once that he was dumber than a peach orchard sow, and I got a letter from him saying, what is a peach orchard sow? I never answered him. I just fell in love with Georgia because of every movie I made here, and I made 6 pictures here, and they were all successes. You know, The Longest Yard was meant to be made in Florida, and it was made at a prison in Georgia, and I made so many movies that were successful, and Starting Over was one of them. Which we, you know, it's a very, this town and all the towns that you can think of around, you can be anywhere. It's an amazing place, and the people, it's the people, you know, in the final analysis, doesn't matter how pretty the town is, it's the people, and the people were wonderful to me, always have been.
When Governor Askew shut you down, you came and saw Governor Carter.
Well, I came to the nicest man on the planet and said, could I shoot a movie here? And the last governor you had didn't want me to, and he said, we'll fix that. And he was so nice. You all know that. You all know that. You don't find anybody like, he wasn't a politician. He was just a nice man. He grew nuts. His brother was a little strange, but that's all right.
Did you ever drink a Billy beer?
I did. Oh, yeah, I got some Billy beer. I think that's going to be valuable someday.
What do you think of the industry in Georgia now? It's a multi-billion-dollar film industry now in Georgia, and you had a big part in getting it started.
Well, I don't know if I had a big part in it, but I'd like to think I had some part in it. And every time anybody wants to make a movie with me about something, I say, can't we shoot this in Georgia? And it doesn't matter if it's about Africa. I just love coming here. I love the people here. I love the writers here, like this gentleman who knows more about movies than anybody I know. And we had an interview on the phone the other day. It was supposed to be a half hour, and it's 90 minutes long because of how much he knows and how nice he is. That's what I mean. That's what it's about.
Do you, when you're filming some of these films in these locations like Georgia, how much do you get to experience the people and the towns that you're in when you're, because I'm sure with scheduling of the shooting and everything, do you get to experience a lot of it?
Oh, of course. And the friends that you make permanently. I mean, tonight, I'm going to see a lady who's been a friend of mine for 30 years. It's the friends you make, and they'll always be your friends. That's the difference between here and
La La Land.
La La.
Where nobody is your friend.
Well, they are as long as you're doing well. Yes, ma'am.
When you're making films like Smoking the Bandit and Deliverance and all the big films you have, do you know right then that you've got something that's going to be a multi-generational movie?
You know sometimes you got a feeling about a movie that this movie could be hot, but you have no idea that it's going to be make the kind of money that it makes. That's the bottom line, and that picture did real well. Yes.
Well, of course, Dean Treadway, Movie Geeks United. Just thinking of some questions that I didn't ask you the other day, but I wanted to start off by when you were in Gainesville. You also had Miss Needham, Hal's widow, was there. And
I'm going to see her tonight.
Oh, okay, so she's going to be here tonight. That's good. She said something very interesting, that one time she was, people were talking about quotes from the movie and from Smokey and the Bandit.
Yes.
And she went back to the original script, and she was not able to find that quotation. And in fact, she couldn't find almost anything that was actually in the movie in the original script.
That's true.
So I want to ask about that sort of sense of improvisation and that went on that set, and you know.
Well, I'll tell you, you're absolutely right. The first meeting that we had with, I guess it was United Artists, no, or was it Universal? And they said, well, Mr. Reynolds, we'll do this picture with you because you want to do it, but we don't know why. I said, I got to admit, it's the worst script I've ever read. But I said, don't worry about it because we're not going to say a word that's in it. And we didn't. We improvised every single scene. And I love making movies that way. I've made a lot of them that way. I hate to admit it to you, but I have.